spilling truth in the night. Mainstream hiding the fire, but it's bringing the light. Strap on the armor of God, stand tall, never fold, giving you the real news stories the brave ones won't hold. Yeah, the real word is buried, but I dig it up bold. MrE on America, watch the truth unfold. Turn on your TV, they feed you the same old lies. Pretty faces smiling while the real world cries. They cherry pick the narrative, keep the people blind, but down in the shadows the hidden truth I find. No corporate bosses pulling on my strings. I chase the stories with fire in my veins. And MrE on America, spilling truth in the night. Mainstream hiding the fire, but it's bringing the light. Strap on the armor of God, stand tall, never fold, giving you the real news stories the brave ones won't hold. Yeah, the real word is buried, but I dig it up bold. MrE on America.
Alright, hello everyone, I'm back. We tried to do the live right on time at 4:30, and as always, when I go a long time without doing a live stream, I get little gremlins in the machine. So hopefully you all made it over. I had to completely restart YouTube, and I had to do a refresh on Rumble as well. I think Rumble just basically I started another live. After this is over, I'll go in and delete the one that didn't go through. But being that we're so far into this right now, I am going to skip all of the other things that I normally do at the beginning of my live stream. So if you want to know any of that information, just look down in the description below the video. You'll see sponsors and how you can reach me and our other platforms that we're on, the website, all that. It's all down in the description. Go ahead and check that out either now or after we're done. So today we're going to talk about how people's heads are exploding here about something that Trump said on Air Force One. And then we're going to get into a little bit of the unveiling of more deep state and more of the shenanigans and the, I would say, deep state stuff that the MSM is up to as well. But it's so blatant and in your face, and if people can't see this, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I got notes here. I'm going to go through my notes. So we're going to have a part 1 and a part 2. We'll get through part 1. I'll check any questions or anything over on chats. I don't believe. Can somebody send me a message over on Rumble just to make sure that I'm getting it, please? Because I did have to start a different one. I might have to open a different chat window. I might as well just go over there and do it right now, just to skip it all and do it right. Look at the one that says live. Do a pop out on this. Look at the one that says live. Do a pop out on this. Kill that. Alright. Alright, so I think I have all my chat windows up now. Anyway, let's get into this. So, first of all, welcome back to MrE on America. We took a little hiatus. I have a lot going on here. Lots of things. Just a lot of personal stuff, but a lot of other good stuff too, but I won't get into that now. So this is the show where we cut through all the noise and tell you what the mainstream media refuses to say. I'm one of those podcasters, if you will, that's not afraid to say what's on his mind for fear of losing my channel, because I have backups everywhere. Haha. And it's not, if they dump me on YouTube, I'm done. If Rumble dumps me, then I know there's something really weird going on, but I still have BitChute as my backup, and X. And I'm not putting anything on X today just because I knew there would be gremlins in the machine, and I didn't want that to affect that either. So I want to talk about something that just dropped. Okay, this actually came out the other day when President Trump was on his way to Wisconsin on Air Force One, and he was talking with the reporters, and he openly said his economic plan shares common grounds with Bernie Sanders. Okay, so I'm going to quote President Trump, who said, "And that's exactly why a lot of Bernie voters came over to me," unquote. And they were talking about how Hillary screwed him over, and he probably knew that. He was in there, I think, as smoke and mirrors, and then he was paid some money to drop out at a certain time to give Hillary supposedly an advantage, but that didn't work out so well. So anyway, now before your head explodes, I want to be crystal clear on something. President Trump is not going socialist, not even close. So just to go into that a little bit deeper, a few days earlier, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent dropped a big bomb too. He was on, I forget what it was. I don't know if it wasn't Meet the Press. It was some news show. But I'm going to quote him, and he said, "For the last 25 years, we've had this slavish devotion to free markets, thinking everything would magically fix itself, and it didn't. The system failed millions of Americans," unquote. So I just want to add in a little bit of context to that. So over the decades, 50, 60 plus, it's been ingrained in our heads that we need to go to school, then go to college, graduate college, get a job, and then we can work until we can retire. So that's basically how it was ingrained in our heads to become the robots or the sheep. Okay? So again, I want to reiterate, no, President Trump and his team did not switch sides. But what they're doing right now is they're changing the entire game. Okay, so this might be the first time that you're hearing this, maybe not, but they're bringing back a forgotten American tradition that the establishment buried for 100 years or so. So President Trump was talking about the government taking stakes in critical industries like AI. Okay, so that was in the context of how this all came about with the whole Bernie thing. So he mentioned, excuse me, the public-private partnerships that are needed to rebuild the American strength. Excuse me. He said, yeah, Bernie pushed the similar ideas, and I personally think President Trump sees it as building bridges in this new industrial revolution. Okay, so Scott Bessent put it plainly when he said this, okay, when markets are rigged against working people, hope dies and everyone starts playing economic lottery instead of working hard. This administration is fixing that rigged system so that production, effort, and playing by the rules actually pay off again. Okay, so I'm going to unquote now. So, and again, this goes back to, how we've been brainwashed all along. And then you're wondering, well, why is it that just now people are noticing this? People actually started noticing this little by little back in 2017 when an entity that some call the 17th letter of the alphabet, or Q, came out and started posting some things. And it was basically the whole Socratic method of asking questions, and that prompted people to go out and do a little bit of research, kind of looking into things for themselves instead of listening to the mainstream media and other people that we supposedly trust. Okay? So again, something that I talked about for years and years and years, at least 10 now, since we've been doing the IRL media stuff, well, 9 years, okay, is that get out, you got to think for yourself and trust but verify. Okay, so go out there and verify what they're telling you. Go out there and do a little bit of research on your own. Don't be lazy, because laziness and complacency is what got us where we are now. Okay, so back on what Scott Bessent said on fixing this rigged system and playing by the rules. We have some proof on that. So this May jobs report was a blowout. There was 172,000 new jobs, and that's nearly double what the so-called experts predicted. Unemployment is at 4.3%, and the private sector is beating the forecasts. Okay, previous months revised upwards, not down like the Biden years, and the factory jobs are finally starting to grow. Okay, so I'm going to get into some stuff, and I might kind of like repeat something as I go in, but there's a hierarchy on how back in the day when the United States became industrialized, on how we started building up to become the strongest country in the world. Okay, and that was taking our industry, building from the bottom up, making a product, getting all the orders on it, and then starting to make your sales. But before going out and hiring a huge workload of, a lot of people to handle the workload, you give them overtime, okay? And then over time, you start to let them get slacked off on how hard they're working, hire new people, get them trained, get them in. And at the same time, you're increasing your sales. So you're constantly creating a very healthy economy, and it's not just in just one area alone. This falls into everything from agriculture all the way up to like steel making and car production, where we are today. So Peter Navarro just recently laid out a timeline perfectly. And he said, first come the orders, then the production, then the capital investment. That's kind of what I was just talking about, but that's a shorter version. And only after that comes the big hiring wave. Okay, so that's what I was just saying, but he said it more distinctly, shorter. Okay, so that's exactly what we're seeing right now after decades of shipping our industry overseas. We have been sending our industry from the United States to Canada, to Mexico, to China, to Indonesia. You look at the made in tags on a lot of things, and you'll see what country that they were made in. Okay, they might have been assembled in the United States, but these parts and things were made much cheaper in other countries. And again, that actually made us part of being slave labor, even though it wasn't happening here in the United States. Things are going to happen where everything's going to balance out. And we're going to see economies in places where you never expected them to take off and blossom. And that's all because of the things that President Trump is doing right now. And for those naysayers out there with the whole Iran thing, and they think, oh yeah, this is like a lost cause. You people are so behind the curve, you need to catch up. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So the other thing I wanted to say is that this isn't blind faith in the invisible hand. Okay, this is a proactive American industrial policy where tariffs, tax incentives, and smart government support that whole infrastructure to protect and rebuild what our producers and workers are doing. So President Trump calls it his economic plan. Millions of working class voters heard it loud and clear, and they switched sides. Those were the Bernies. Those were some of the Hillary Clinton supporters that looked at what President Trump was saying. Those were actually people that voted for Obama. You don't get a guy that gets 80 plus million votes in his first term if people aren't actually listening to what he's throwing out there for you. Okay, so it was just late last week, Peter Navarro named it out loud what it is. It's called the American system. Okay, does that sound familiar to any of you, if any of you history buffs? Okay, so this was the same system that was championed by Alexander Hamilton and Henry Clay. Okay, and what they did back then and what President Trump is going back to right now is where they use tariffs to grow the industry. You have the national finance to fuel growth and infrastructure, and that helps to unite the whole country. And that's every aspect of what we produce in our country. It brings everything all together and solidifies our industrial marketplace. Or basically, it's gonna take and make America very strong and one of the most wealthy nations in the world. But never fear for others out there in other countries that are watching. You're going to play catch up too, and you aren't going to be that far behind. Okay, it just takes a little bit of innovation and having good leaders running your country that, with a little help maybe from people like President Trump that know how this stuff works, you guys will all be in it, and we'll all have our different pieces that we put into this big pie that makes everybody, number one, sovereign, and number two, the wealth is coming back. Okay? So it took a weak, young nation, the United States. We were very young, and we made it the most powerful economy on earth. And how do we do that? We asked one simple question: does this make America stronger? And that's what President Trump is doing right now with America First. Does this make America stronger? So for over a century, I'll say the powers that be tried to erase the system so we'd only fight over two versions of the same British trap. Okay, every time we're offered something, there's two sides of it, but it's the same thing with just different names. So we had these two versions of what we called the British trap: radical free trade or socialism. Okay, the UK was involved in all of that, and that's what they pushed. And some of the elite at the top that are over there still, and I talked about London, State Street, they're all trying to push the same thing, but that's where this whole thing with Iran comes in, okay? These snarling dogs are slowly being put to sleep, okay? So, with both of these choices that we had, the radical free trade or the socialism, they both hollow out our sovereignty, okay? So it makes us a nation that cannot make what it needs, and then in the outcome of that, it doesn't keep us truly free and independent, okay? So right now, from what I can see, and I think a lot of other, even the news people out there are seeing it, the results are pretty exciting. So some stats here. So 60% of Gen Z now say that they plan to go into skilled trades rather than going full-blown college. Okay, so half of recent college grads are pivoting over into the trades. And I probably would have done that too, except I'm too old now. And, you know, like they always say, let the puppies coming in take over the jobs, and it's time for the old dogs to retire. And that's what I did recently. Okay, so trade jobs, I don't know if you know this or not, but they often pay just as much or better in some cases than many 4-year or 8-year degree college thingies here, without, and the caveat there is you don't have a lifetime of debt. Okay, if you're going to go to college, I think under the new numbers, you can go to college and get your certification for a trade for probably around 10 grand or less, because those are usually like a 2-year school. Sometimes it's a 3. For an example, I went to go to nursing school, which would have been probably closer to a 4-year degree depending on where I wanted to go with it. But I spent a total of 5 years in college, and my last 2 years of college were for my certification as a CMA. So basically, it took me 2 years to become a certified CMA, and a CMA can do almost as much as a nurse can, and in some cases can do the same thing if they go out and get some of that training, and then the doctor that they work for allows them to do those tasks. All right, so so trade jobs, as we know, they pay more and it costs less to get them. So now we've got contractors out there that are short on workers, okay, and the wages are finally starting to rise. So President Trump's team is operating on these principles, okay. The main principle is America first, and the question is this good for America, or is it good for the other country? Okay, so as long as it's good for America, then it's good, something that's good to institute and to work on to build our economy. So as I said, the numbers are proving and it's working, and young Americans are even voting with their careers. So this here is how we win back our economic and political sovereignty. This is the American system returning. So let me just take a peek out on YouTube. I don't have any new comments out there. It looks like everything's working okay from what I can tell. So what I'm going to do, I mentioned that we're going to have a part 1 and a part 2. We're going to have an intermission here in just a moment, and during the intermission I'm just going to play one of my new songs from my album for you. You may or may not have heard it, and again, the links for all that stuff is down below. Because of the getting into this a little bit late today because of the gremlins in the machine, I'm just going to leave it up to you to go down there and take a look at these things yourself. All right, so again, like I said, this is the finish of part 1 for the big story this week. We're going to do this short intermission, like I said, with one of my new music pieces. And while you wait, please leave a comment below the video. Smash that like button and share this out to anyone who you think would be interested in either this show or other things that I do here on with IRL Media and MrE on America. So for now, go ahead and enjoy the intermission. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, they felt the rumble coming, but they never saw the way. Whispers in the dark turn to thunder in the fields. Hearts waking up, watch the red tide start to build. Post by post, vote by vote, you cutting through the lies. Quiet fire spreading till it lights up the sky. They try to hold the line with the same old game, but the bass is stirring and it's calling out your name. From the heartland dirt to the city concrete roar, we built this moment, now the pressure can't be ignored. Pressure rising high, can't keep it locked inside. Made them fire burning, feel the power in the tide. They laughed and said it couldn't ever break the wall, but the storm is gathering, hear the freedom call. Red wave, tidal wave crashing down. Red tsunami, sweeping through the town. Fight, the bass is rising strong. Great awakening, storm is coming on. Red wave, nothing stops the surge. Take it back, truth is on the verge. Red wave, feel metallic pulse. 2020 stomp, we already know the truth. They drip the story slow to keep the people calm, but the herd is waking now, the wave is on the march. No more silent nights, no more bowing to the game. We rise together and we're never feeling shame. Every voice that spoke, every share that lit the spark, turned into a breaker that's tearing down the dark. They called it wishful, said the numbers couldn't lie, but the red is rolling like a freight train through the sky. Red wave, tidal wave crashing down. Red tsunami, sweeping through the town. Fight, the bass is rising strong. Great awakening, storm is coming on. Red wave, nothing stops the surge. Take it back, truth is on the verge. Red wave, feel metallic pulse. 2020 stomp, we already know the it couldn't happen. Nah, data don't lie when the people unify. No more holding back, just the red in the sky. Truth cutting deeper than the chainsaw cry. From the factory floors to the family dinner tables, voices coming loud, turning myths into fables. They counted us out, said the movement was done, but the red keeps rising like the morning sun. Every suppressed truth, every censored word became the fuel that made this tidal wave heard. No king, no crown, just the will of the free. We forged this red wave from sea to shining sea. Red wave, tidal wave crashing down. Red tsunami sweeping through the town. Fight, 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 bases rising strong. Great awakening, storm is coming on. Red wave, nothing stops the surge. Take it back, truth is on the verge. Red wave, feel metallic pulse. 2020 stop, we already know the truth. The storm is here. We already know. We already know. 2020 stop, we already know the truth.
All right, I'm back. Hope you guys enjoyed that little intermission, and I did because it gave me a chance to clear my throat. All right, we're going to get right away into part 2 because we're behind and I have other commitments that I have to make here. So I've got, I don't know, about maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes to get through this. So in part 2, members of the deep state, Senator Warner and Republican Representative Fitzpatrick begin to panic as President Trump closes in and he starts putting these traitors and the corrupt MSM into the spotlight. So recently, Senator Mark Warner went on CNN and completely lost it over President Trump's appointment of businessman Bill Pulte as acting director of national intelligence. Where did Bill come from? He's got a very good investigative background, but he also came from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So he knows what's going on there with loans and all that kind of stuff, and who's doing it, who's getting it. So he's in the know about some of the things that he needs to pull out. Okay, so I'm not going to go into a whole deep dive on Bill Pulte, but I think he was an excellent choice to take over as acting DNI. So we know Tulsi's leaving, but she hasn't done her last big hurrah yet. And I believe what that is going to do is open the curtain for Bill Pulte to go out there and do what he needs to get done. So we're going to see a lot of things between now and July 4th and even after going down. But I think by the end of this month, we're going to see the beginnings of all that actually starting up. So while Warner was on CNN, he claimed that Pulte might manufacture intelligence to justify sending in ICE and federal troops to shut down elections. So doesn't that sound a little bit like a confession? And I was kind of saying, guilty much there, Senator Warner? What do they do? Those that cry the loudest, those are the ones they're deflecting. They're the ones that are guilty. So at the same time, Republican Representative Brian Fitzpatrick is leading the charge to kill President Trump's proposed $1.8 billion fund to compensate victims of lawfare. Okay, now, so these are the people such as retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, and all of the J6ers, okay? I'm going to call them the J6 victims because a lot of them are still in prison. There were a lot of people that went through some pretty bad stuff, and we had a few of them that didn't have very good outcomes, and this was prior to any of them even being brought in or arrested, okay? So the people that brought these charges are going to be themselves having to stand before probably a military tribunal and explain not only why they did what they did, but explain to them that they are also responsible for the deaths of those patriots that were there that day. All right, so anyway, moving on here. These aren't random moves, okay? They're making desperate attempts to protect themselves by going out here in the public, and that's how they do it. They go out there and try to play victim, but in reality, what we see is that they're confessing. All right, so here's what's happening. Last week, Congress voted to send billions more to Ukraine against President Trump's wishes, okay, while trying to block the key intelligence tools like FISA. Okay, Warner and Fitzpatrick are at the center of this sabotage. Okay, why are they so terrified of Bill Pulte getting access to the real intelligence files? Because they know that Tulsi Gabbard already proved when she reviewed those classified documents. Okay, it's already been proven Russiagate was a manufactured hoax. Ukrainegate and the impeachment stuff was also a hoax. And we're going to find out also how deeply involved certain people in Ukraine, and it wasn't just Joe Biden and Obama and he who shall not be named, Senator John McCain, how they were all involved in this whole thing to keep Trump out of office, or if he got in, to get him impeached. Okay, so we know it was a hoax. Okay, and then the biggie, because it ain't over, and I do have a song out there that talks about this, and it's released. Go out to my channel, MrE Music, and you can check it out. But the 2020 election interference is the third phase of that same coup. Okay, Mark Warner helped keep the Russian hoax alive by shutting down Julian Assange's offers to prove the DNC leaks didn't come from Russia. Okay, they shut that down. And then right around that same time, what else happened? Didn't the CIA director kind of put out a hit on Julian Assange? Thinking so. Okay, so Brian Fitzpatrick, who is a former FBI agent, cheered it on and used his intelligence background to attack President Trump. Okay, both men, okay, Fitzpatrick and Warner, played key roles in every phase of the coup against President Trump. Catch that word, every, all-inclusive, okay? So they don't work for the American people, they work for the globalist machine. The same crowd in London, just like Tony Blair, who a lot of people out there are thinking is a good guy. Not so much, okay? They're very desperate to keep Trump out or to get him out, and they're very desperate to keep the Ukraine war going and to try to drag America deeper into it. President Trump has promised that the United States is not going to be the world's police anymore, okay? The deep state / cabal, City of London, State Street, all of that, those hidden hands that run all that, they used the United States all these years as their enforcer, okay? The one that went out there and broke the knees of other countries if they didn't toe the line, okay? The United States was used and abused our military were. Okay? And I can tell you that because I was one of them. Okay? So, and I could go into Ukraine even more too, the stuff that's going on there, but if you look at stuff that I put out there recently, you'll find it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So President Trump right now, he's winning in that fight, and he's working very hard towards peace, world peace, okay? And that's exactly why the deep state and people like Warner and Fitzpatrick are panicking, because where do you think their money comes from? You know, they're on a salary for working for the government, but that's not enough. These guys get paid a lot of money, but then they go out and they buy property, they buy yachts, they buy boats. Some of them even bought private islands, and now they're broke or they're hurting and they need more money. So that's what they basically sold their souls. Okay, so President Trump just told reporters recently that Bill Pulte may find some things about the rigged elections, and I think Pulte was brought in to uncover even more and give Tulsi some relief of being the one to bring this information out. Okay, anyway, that single statement by President Trump sent them into overdrive. Okay, that $1.8 billion lawfare fund, it's not about revenge. Okay, it would create public record of exactly who weaponized the government against Flynn, Stone, and the January 6th defendants, and so many others, including like Warner and Fitzpatrick. Okay, so this is why they're fighting so hard. Okay, President Trump showed exactly how to handle their media allies when he walked out of the NBC Meet the Press interview, okay, telling their network knows the elections are rigged, and at the same time chewing Kristen Welker's ass for being a liar and corrupt. Okay, President Trump not only did a mic drop, he literally crushed it. Okay, so here's the bottom line for the midterms. Okay, and that was the reason that I played the song that I did for the intermission. Okay, we don't need more fake moderates like Susan Collins, who voted to convict President Trump and against election integrity bills. Okay, we need a too big to rig turnout in November, even when President Trump's name isn't on the ballot. Okay, this here is to get the people in that want to work with President Trump to fix what's broken in America and make America first. Okay, so we need to make every Republican senator and congressman understand that their seat exists because of President Trump's movement, and for many of them, his endorsement. Okay, and if they're going to turn on him, the American people are going to take them out of where they're sitting. Okay, so here at MrE in America, I'm focused on educating people on the American system and how President Trump is using it to dismantle globalism in all its forms. Okay, that's the real story of our lifetime. That's the big story this week. So if you're tired of the same old failed debate, again, smash that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, and even answer me back on this. Are you ready for the American system to come back full force? Put an answer down there for me. I'd like to hear it, and I respond to everybody that writes to me. Okay? So I'm MrE, and this is MrE on America. We're taking America back, and I'll see you on the next show. God bless every one of you on the other side of this screen, and God bless the United States of America. Peace out.
$8 million missing, not a one goes home.
Save the children.
Boots hit the ground like thunder.
Save the children.
And the darkness starts to shake.
Save the children.
The children are precious in the eyes of God. Every heartbeat held in the palm of his hand. But shadows creep where the wicked trod, thinking no one sees what they've planned. But the Lord said, harm not the little ones.
Little one.
And he meant every word he spoke, for the fire of heaven
and rise against the wicked, and the judge of all judges never sleeps, never jokes. What's done in the dark will be dragged to the light. To the light, to the light. Every hidden thing exposed by the Holy One's side. Holy One's side. You can run, but you can't hide. Can't hide from the God who sees every tear they cry. You can dig down deep, but the light still finds you. Justice rolls in like a storm behind you. For God so loved the world, and love is patient, love is kind. Love is kind. But harm the innocent in heaven's roar will shake your walls and break your door. There are warriors who walk where the light runs thin, stepping into shadows with a fire in their chest. Not for glory, not for fame or skin, but to carry the little ones out to rest. They move through tunnels, through hidden places, guided by a flame that darkness fears. They lift the children with gentle hands, and God himself gathers every tear. What's done in the dark will be dragged to the light. To the light, to the light. Every hidden thing exposed by the Holy One's side. Holy One's side. You can run, but you can't hide. Can't hide from the God who sees every tear they cry. You can dig down deep, but the light still finds you. Justice rolls in like a storm behind you. For God so loved the world, and love is patient, love is kind. Love is kind. But harm the innocent in heaven's roar will shake your walls and break your door. The Lion of Judah walks the night, and every demon trembles at his side. The shepherd leaves the 99 to bring the lost lambs back in time. The wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous stand with nothing to lose. For the Lord is a warrior mighty and bold, and his justice cannot be bought or sold. You can run, but you can't hide. Can't hide from the God who sees every tear they cry. You can dig down deep, but the light still finds you. Justice rolls in like a storm behind you. For God so loved the world, and love is patient, love is kind. Love is kind. But harm the innocent in heaven's roar will shake your walls and break your door. Boots hit the ground like thunder. Light breaks in like a holy wall. The children rise, the darkness falls, and God himself restores them all. Save the children.